the Chiefs respond with the big hits of their own.
Now,
Good Chiefs support at the stadium today.
let's go! News, views, and behind-the-scenes chats from Sandy Park. This is the Exeter Chiefs podcast with Rhino and Bentos.
Welcome to another Exeter Chiefs podcast, and we've got something special for you now. You've been stuck with me and Bentos over the past 8 months, but it's clear that the podcast is gaining popularity, not just with you for tuning in, but with the players as well. So we welcome to the studio this evening Alec Hepburn. Good evening.
Good evening.
And Harry Williams.
Hi, how you doing? You're right.
Along with my associate here, because we've been Bentos off for tonight, Chubby, who you'll know as the MC on match days.
Good evening. I've been allowed out of my box.
Very
Yes.
good MC, of course.
Thank you very much.
So let's get started. Really, we're 2 games down and two losses. We've been chatting about this kind of before we've started recording. Alec, you've got some views on this, really, haven't you? And how you've been thinking about it.
My views on reflecting, I guess, from yesterday and speaking just to a few of the guys, you know, it is a shorter week. We're playing on the Saturday, and for me, I think the overwhelming feeling is actually quite excited just to get into the club and just get through a bit of hard graft, and then you know, see where that takes us. But obviously, I don't think, you know, being 2 games in is the time to start dwelling on stuff. I think it's just obviously time to crack on, and you know, we'll definitely work hard over the next few days to put ourselves right.
What about you, Harry? How have you been feeling today?
I don't know, I do kind of see it 2 ways. 'Cause obviously, I am really gutted that we kind of, because we want to paint Sandy Park as kind of a fortress and that kind of thing. And if you give away 34 points sort of there, you know, it's nothing to be happy about. But at the same time, I suppose kind of maybe the shackles are gone now. Maybe it is a little bit less pressure, and there isn't kind of that like sort of Damocles hammer of it. Oh, you know, we need to keep the home record going and stuff like that. But I don't think we gave a particularly good account of ourselves, and the start definitely didn't help us. But you have to give them, you know, I'd say you got to give them credit without, you know, sort of like going like over respectful sort of thing. You know, they're a cracking team, and they're really handy. But
Still champions of Europe, and
the best respect you can probably give them, I've always said this, and this is the same with everything, as
Nando's, cards, all things. This is right here.
this applies to everything.
you boys clearly know me well.
Say, for example, I'll give you an analogy right now. Have you ever played the circle game, where if you put the circle underneath your waist and you look at it like that?
No.
Look at that. Then I punch you. The greatest respect you can give someone, is by punching them hard, because you know they can take it. So the greatest respect you can ever do if you're playing against them is you go at them 100% and you show your best against them. Not respecting someone isn't like, you know, sort of like, you know, after you, Claude, letting them do what they want to you, because that's what they're supposed to do. The greatest thing you can do is just getting stuck into them and doing as well as you can, you know, and showing them, you know, the respect they deserve.
And that's always great having you in it, because this is a whole new level of understanding for me as a general fan. And Chubby, before we bring you in to ask a question, you've got a challenge. What are the sponsors? Can you remember? Harry Williams.
Sponsored by Interline.
Interline, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Building supplies, you've got to do it properly.
You can double up on that.
Yes.
2 Interline.
Boom!
Yes.
Do they get like a buy one, get one?
Off, yeah.
Potentially. You can double down.
2
on good idea
Interlines,
right there,
2
Chubby.
Interlines.
So you wanted to chat a little bit about the pace of the game, didn't you, James?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think one of the things that from the fans, the crowd's perspective, was getting frustrating, because we saw the effort and the energy that was going in on the ball and the pace, but it just wasn't getting us over the gain line like it often does. And that ability to slow the ball down at the ruck, slow the ball down at the set piece, and also the thing that the crowd were absolutely baying for was for that Wolfpack defence to get onside. And from the pitch perspective, do you think that was actually an issue as much as the crowd felt it was?
What, that they weren't onside?
That they were stepping in front of the breakdown by considerable margin.
I don't know.
No?
Yeah, well, I think there's some aspects of the game, I guess, when you're within it, or because obviously for a lot of the game, watching from the bench as well, you sometimes look at the game as a whole instead of like those little details, and you know, or sometimes you look at the details and not as a whole. But I didn't notice that particularly if they were onside or offside as much. I think just concentrate on what we were doing at that point.
I think the broadsword cuts both ways as well. Like, you know, they're not going to be getting off solely, being offside. There's probably a few things that we got away with and stuff like that as well. It's not good.
It balances itself out pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. It's not really like that. And so what you're saying, like, you want to see sort of the Wolfpack defence go down. It's sort of, I think, as far as getting around that and that kind of stuff, you've got to look at it as either we need to change something that we're doing to get around it, or we need to do what we're doing better.
So today's been recovery, and you've not been training today. What's that sort of been made of, Alec? Is that sitting on the sofa watching Hollyoaks, or is there some professional regime a man like you goes through?
I was turned off Hollyoaks a long time ago. Probably I'd say year 11 was my last year in Hollyoaks. But moving on to the recovery,
was Tony still in it then, the chef?
Is that male Tony? That's the female
Yeah,
Tony.
no.
No, the male
two Tony. I thought, yeah, of course. He had that fringe, didn't
Involved with Gemma Atkinson, wasn't he?
He had that weird
He was having an affair with Gemma Atkinson.
What, in real life?
Who Tony was?
No, he wasn't. I believe he was in the show. I remember watching. They had a very. They had a real cast at the time. A few of them gone on to do really great things. A-listers, that's actually a thoroughbred A-lister in there.
10 points if you can name the pub.
The Road? No, it's not the
Fox and Hound.
Corrie. No.
What is it called?
Chubby?
The Queen's Head.
Queen Vic.
The Vic.
Duck in the pond.
Of course it's not the Queen Vic, Chubby, mate. You know that as well, mate. It's EastEnders.
I don't watch television unless it's got wildlife in it.
I can't believe that Hollyoaks replaced Brookside, but that's a whole different conversation. So recovery, you didn't watch Hollyoaks today. What have you been doing?
No, I got out of the house. It was actually a rarity, but Sam, who offered to go, he was going surfing, and I didn't have anything on today, obviously. So I was like, well, I'll come with you. But
and you live with Sam. He's the landlord, is he?
Yeah, he runs a tight ship.
He owns the house we live in.
Tight ship, I'd say.
We'll call him a landlord. He is
Which
the owner
beach
of the
did
house.
you go to? Alec? Which beach for the surfing?
Petersburg, something in North Devon near Croyd.
Putsborough.
Putsborough?
Yeah.
That'll be the one.
Yeah.
Not bad, actually. Just around the corner from Croyd.
Yeah.
Woolacombe, on the other side of Woolacombe. Yeah, we went over there. Just so Sam offered, the dictator of the house. And
does he have jailer's keys? Does he lock you in at night?
He's got a skeleton key, opens every door on the house.
Really?
Nah.
We all have those keys. That's just the key that the locks are fitted with. He's got 4 of them.
Yeah. No, I guess normally day after a game, I try to be active. I find it very hard to be in the house. And if I am in the house, it's probably the only day of the week I will clean because I just feel like I need to do something. But I guess
does Sam have a chores list?
No, he doesn't. I think
it's a laissez-faire system, Mark.
I think it's catch and kill your own. You just got to get on when it, if it's messy, it's messy.
And what about you, Harry? You any niggles or knocks from yesterday or anything?
No, I'm okay. I'm a little bit stiff, but I sort of it's weird. It wasn't actually that physically. They don't feel like they're as physically demanding game. Like you're not blowing as hard or anything like that. It feels like the sort of contacts were maybe a lot cleaner or crisper. I'm not entirely sure why. It's just it wasn't a particularly ragged game. Like there wasn't, we put a lot of phases together, but it wasn't like up and down the pitch. It was all sort of done between like the 22, so it wasn't particularly like that. But no, I actually haven't really done anything. My parents were down, so I saw them, but that was about it really. It's not really. I don't really. The whole kind of after a day game, I'm sort of the opposite to Alec. I'm quite happy just to sort of sit on the sofa and just chill and stuff like that. Especially if sort of gone out and a few drinks the night before and that kind of thing. And I don't know why you would have gone surfing today particularly. I've never understood this because this little
he's a city slick. He's never been.
I think there's a domestic coming.
There's this sort of like contingent down here of these surfing boys going surfing, and I can sort of see the appeal if you're sort of in Hawaii or Tahiti or these other sort of hotspots, but going surfing to Putsborough or Petersburg or whatever it's called, and surfing in like 3-degree heat, just like on a rented board, just doesn't sound particularly glamorous or appealing to me. On 1 foot
this
waves.
is going to be the challenge, the heart challenge, right? I think it was like 4 or 5 foot waves, and obviously Harry doesn't think that's really that particularly big, and I guess to some people it's not particularly big.
It isn't particularly big,
but for a guy who isn't amphibious by no stretch of the imagination, right? He reckons like he's going to walk all over these, 4-footers and 5-footers. And
that's a big wave for the UK, isn't it?
I think it's all right, but I was trying to explain to you, it's only your head above the water.
I've never done it.
How high would you say this desk is here? About 4 foot, isn't it?
Yeah, but you've got to just pretend your head's just bobbing around on the carpet.
So you've got this, obviously, this surge, Mother Nature's most powerful attribute, this surge of power coming through, right?
I can see a
And you're gonna
podcast coming.
get your ass
I can
knocked
see
off.
us doing a podcast from the
You're
beach.
going to get your ass knocked off.
Have you ever seen? You're aware of surfing films, aren't you? I think you've seen a few surfing
Yeah, of course.
films. Have you seen Blue Crush? Yeah. Point Break.
Billabong Odyssey, Point Break, you name it.
When I met with you two, you
I'm
said,
not a surfer for the record.
you
I'm
said there
actually
would
just
there would be
been
tangents,
once.
and you really weren't lying, were you? I don't know where we go with this.
But it's not because the point I'm
part of
making
recovery somehow.
about these waves is that I just don't see where the fear factor lies. If you're not, because like when I watch these films, there are all these surfers. They're coming down on top of like coral and like stuff like that, and I can understand that and getting your board trapped in it. But like it's like you'll be on the water for about 4 seconds. I just don't. Nah.
I think it's a bit more than 4 seconds. Have you been dunked by a wave?
Yes.
When?
On holiday.
It's such a
Bognor,
bit-
1983.
That's the truth. That is the truth.
Is it?
Yeah, I have. I've done bodyboarding. Obviously, everyone's done, haven't they, when they were a kid? 6 footers. This was on a set of 6 footers. This was
Big sets
The
coming
sandbar.
through, were they?
Exeter Chiefs podcast. Get to know Alec and Harry. I saw that clip of you two the other day doing the stuff on Spotlight with the Bake Off.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
What did you think of it, Mark? Did you like it?
Where you put salt on it.
Did you watch? Have you watched the full 3 minute? Have you only watched the 30 seconds?
I think it's the full.
The full one on Spotlight.
No, I've watched the bit they put on Facebook.
Bit on Facebook.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Clock 70,000 views. That has 100,000 and it goes viral.
Superstars.
But it's sort of past the window of activity now, isn't it? 24 hours, I'd
I
say.
think
then
it's back in the closet, that one.
It is, yeah.
On the way.
So was that staged to him putting salt in it? Was that meant to happen?
It genuinely wasn't staged, and I actually only realised he put salt in my cake batter when I was watching the news with him. I was sort of watching it on this. If you can imagine, I'll set the scene for you. I was sitting on a beanbag and he was laying on the sofa behind my head. And as sort of the moment
Very
was going,
romantic.
when I presented my cake to Dennis, the head chef, I could hear him sort of like start chuckling to himself. And then later there was the little statue of him putting about 300 grams of salt into my
Full fistful. A full handful, that was. I actually had 2 handfuls, but half of it was just dissipating through my fingers. So it was only one in the end, but...
So you a bit of a Mary Berry, are you, Harry?
Mary
I
Berry.
wouldn't say I am actually. What are these sort of? There's been a bit of
What on
a
earth is
surge.
that?
Mary Berry. She's the woman.
Do you not know who Mary Berry is?
No, I only got drawn into it because Hazel, he said he's just going to be baking a cake and he didn't think it would be that funny.
Do you not watch the
So
Bake
we
Off?
sort of thought we'd bounce off each other a bit. I do watch the Bake Off, actually.
Yeah, so Mary Berry's the woman with Paul Hollywood who presents the Baker. You know that.
Yeah,
as well.
I should know that, actually. I know there's,
Is he trying to be cool, Harry?
He's trying to be cool.
there's
Yeah.
a chick called
School's what he's trying
Val.
to be.
To be fair, I'd like to put my hand up and take, a little bit of credit, for some of Hazel's tweets. I give him suggestions every now and again.
The odd tweet he gives me like a bit of
Surface.
inspiration for. Like he's not.
I give him a
Don't believe that for a second.
pre-Bake Off
That
tweet.
is 100% homegrown material there.
I do.
At Harry Williams 91. If anyone, that could steal a few more
Shameless
followers.
plug.
Shameless.
I do enjoy watching it, actually, the Bake Off now, for obvious. But when Harry first came to the club, we normally just play some social poker at the end of the training week. And I don't think Harry was coming for 1 week. He particularly enjoyed poker as well.
I do really love poker.
He came with these real big old glasses, real good actually, and he wasn't coming 1 week. He said the Bake Off's on, and we were like, what do you mean the Bake Off's on? Like, we're playing cards tonight. And I think Hilly went trolling through his Twitter account because we're still getting to know him. It's at the point, like, in a friendship where you sort of like still feeling people out. And we're like, what? This
Shadow
guy,
boxing,
like,
if you will. Shadow boxing.
We couldn't believe this guy, like, just shamelessly tweeting about the Bake Off, and we sort of, it wasn't at that point where we knew he was doing it for a good laugh.
But what this, I think, what this
just
little
where it
surge of
first
publicity
started.
has done is it's kind of exposed me for the fraud I am. Is I don't actually know anything about the technicalities of baking. I'm more just kind of
As you
say it
could
as I
tell,
see it.
as you could tell,
As
He was
Dennis
nice.
may agree.
He was supposed to make a Genoese. He made some sort of salty pancake in the end. Hadn't
That
risen.
is a genuine.
Yeah, but he's sort of, what
Hadn't
he's done there is he's
risen a bit.
blamed me for the. I can't believe it. I think I've said this to everyone. I said I can't get, because people come up to me going, you're angry at him for putting the salt in your mixture, and I said I can't get angry at him
No
because
honour
I'd have done it to him if I'd have
thieves.
thought of it first. And I was 100% I would have. You can't. There's no honour among thieves. You got to take that kind
This
of
is
thing.
Pirates Code, and we play this, and Ollie Woodburn knows the code, right? Pirates Code. When it comes to cards, all bets are off.
Every man for
You
himself.
know, if someone says, any sort of I swear on this and pinky and that, it doesn't mean anything. Especially when you've got coffee, cake, and the Nando's up for grabs in some of these games. Some people want them more than others. They are big stakes. You only have to glance across the room and see someone forked out quite a bit for a Nando's the other day.
Yeah.
That'll be Hazel.
And there we're touching upon nutrition, of course.
Yeah, let's talk nutrition. So we've had Twigsy in to talk about nutrition and what the kind of routines he puts you through. We've had Jack Noel in, he brought his dinner with him. We've had Tom Johnson in, he's had a chat about what he does. So
you've covered this quite a lot in the nutrition.
It's because I'm a bit obsessed with it.
You become obsessive over people keep.
No, I'm really fascinated. I think it's interesting because you all are on different kind of regimes, aren't you? So, Harry, how different is yours to Jack's, where he eats fish and rice?
Well, the first thing is I would definitely wouldn't call it a regime.
Okay.
My nutrition plan is certainly not a regime.
Is there less structure?
No.
What's your mesocycle?
What's my sort of
your mesocycle?
I approach it as a sort of like in a series. I prefer to see it as a series of microcycles. I do need to try and stay on top of it because obviously I'm a bit, I'm quite a fat bloke, so I sort of got to stay. I can't eat a lot of sort of crap, so I just try not to do that. Really, that's kind of it. And I speak to James Parks, who he sort of takes me through it, and I sort of do food diaries and stuff for him and stuff like that. But I have lost some fat sort of over the course. So I think it is kind of working. But when like people weigh their food and stuff like that and all this kind of thing, I just think like what a ball, like
I've been living like that for 2.5 months.
And how are you finding it, Mark? Are you reaching your physique goals?
I've lost 2.5 stone, Harry.
Really?
Yeah, and 10% body fat. You want to join the club, mate? I'll get a game next week.
That's how it is it, Mark?
Dish out a bit of curry sauce right there, a bit of hot sauce for you.
In all honesty, it's a complete and utter nightmare.
The only way I'm going to ever weigh it is the only way I'm going to ever weigh out a portion of raw chicken on a weighing scale is if you could somehow put the raw chicken into my dead hand, lift it up, and pour it on top of the weighing scale. That just is not me at all. I'm going to cook the chicken and I'm going to eat it. All right,
as much as possible.
Weighing it just ain't going to happen.
What about you, Alex? Do you take the same approach?
What, as weighing the chicken or
Harry's take on it?
No, I guess I'm in a different boat where I probably have a lot of freedom in my diet. Just I guess for me, putting on body weight is sometimes a bit harder than for others. So I sort of eat, I'd say generically good food. You'd have your meat, you'd have your carbs and your sides or whatever it is. But I'll say this, salads is what I'm getting into now. I made this real good concoction. I'm talking beetroot, I'm talking mozzarella cheese. I'm talking your spinaches. Plural.
Spinaches.
This is the Exeter Chiefs podcast.
Back into this weekend, what sort of analysis will happen ahead of Quins and what sort of conversations will be had with Rob and the other coaches and the other teammates?
For Quins, I guess is what we do normally most weeks. We analyse their games, see hopefully where we can find chinks in the armour and stuff like that.
How many games do you watch? Do you go far back? Or?
I think
two games back normally.
Chuck does a good job. He sort of provides quite a few games. So depending on your positions, I guess you can look at your opposite number and stuff like that, and just see any traits or characteristics. So I guess we do that for a bit, but some of these shorter weeks, I guess we focus on ourselves a lot as well. I think it's always about having the balance, isn't it? Focusing on ourselves just as much as on the opposition. We obviously got to be aware about what they bring and what they do, but at the same time, I don't think we can neglect what we do. We can't sort of just assume X, Y, and Z. I think we got to keep working on ourselves as well.
Boys, we've made it through our first podcast with
minor injuries.
With minor injuries.
Has that emceeing skills by my man Chubby.
Minor injuries.
We've previewed, we've chatted cake, and we've even talked recovery and Sam Hill being the landlord. Which
I'll just say on that cake issue, I should have really recorded his reaction. It was actually quite real good.
Did he kick off?
And it was real as well. That was the most important thing. I didn't kick off. I laughed. As I said, There's no honour among thieves. That's my closing statement on it.
Harry, what we need to do is we need to build
it.
this, and we need to get him back.
Get who? Well, get Alec back.
Yeah.
You rest assured that if BBC Spotlight ever do another Bake Off inspired bit on me and Alec, he's having it. His recipe's having it.
Well, boys, it's an honour to have you on the podcast. Hopefully we're coming back next week and haven't offended you too much. And what I'm keen to do as well, as we drive this forward, is just to get to know you guys a bit. So early in your careers, Alec, tales of the tour from the summer, be really good to dig on that, really. And Harry, massive season for you last year, coming over from Jersey. Be good to know a bit more about that, how that was for you, and get to know you. Is that going to be all right, boys?
Yeah, I think that should be fine. Yeah.
All about a bit about yourself, obviously.
Yeah, I want to hear about you too, Mark.
No, well, we'll do
Chubby.
We'll do a special, Mark and Chubby.
Your behind-the-scenes access to Sandy Park with Rhino and Bentos.
Thank you.
The Exeter Chiefs podcast.